who they are. So I don't know if that relates to some of your...
Well, it seems that the word gay is placed someone in a box.
I think the word gay is a problem for people who aren't supportive of sexual minority youth, but I think youth who choose the name, most of them, if I don't like that word, that's my problem.
I have a comment to make relative to this. I have a granddaughter who is different, and she told me one time, gay is okay within our network because you don't have to focus on this particular aspect or that. It covers the whole. And I thought to say something when gay was pretty negative. She said, no, Grandpa, it's really not. Yeah. And I think that for we who are not in that, to understand that, it may be helpful.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I was just going to add a little bit to the terminology. I myself identify as queer, and I know for a lot of people that has a negative connotation, and that can be whatever your experience is, how you've heard the word, how it's been used historically. And a lot of the youth that I work with also identify as queer, or they identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. And there's certainly many other terms, pansexual, gender nonconforming, gender queer. There's just so many ways that people are redefining how they define themselves, and so people don't want to define themselves in any way, and I think that's really okay. And just like this person over here just said, it's the best way to know is to just ask the person how they identify. If you feel it's safe to do that, and if they feel like it's safe to respond, they will tell you how they identify. And when they tell you what their identity is, it's not offensive, it's not wrong, and it just means so many different things for so many different people. And it's okay to ask as long as someone's open to talk about it.
Well, I identify as my name, right?
I think, I was just going to finish a thought on that. I was going to finish a thought on that question. I think we have to realize that if we're talking about the youth of today, the term that they use is far less important than what we feel uncomfortable with the term or so forth. If we just simply provide an environment in which the individual feels comfortable in expressing themselves, they'll use the term that they want to use. Yeah. And it's our responsibility to make sure that individual feels safe in doing so. Far more matter of fact about it than we might be. Frank?
I really appreciate you being here today, because this is something that when years ago the church decided to become reconciling, it's heading in a direction that is I'm very proud of where it's gotten to at this point. I want to really thank the two Dans for assisting this format to be here. But interestingly enough, I wrote on my comment card here before you even brought it up about how do we make connection between LGBT minority youth and religious spirituality. And you kind of touched on it a little bit there. That's a pretty heavy sentence there, I know. But I truly believe that every individual has a spirituality. And one of my things that I was heading toward working on when I got sidetracked for financial reasons was connected, to where we become stronger that way instead of running on their own individual paths. And second of all, each one of you in the organization that you're connected with and part of, have you ever thought about the idea of trying to put as many of those under one roof, one house? So the connection is made a lot faster, a lot quicker, and the strength of each one of you together would be even more powerful than running separately on your own.
Joyce, maybe you can start with that.
That was a lot. I do have a couple of thoughts. The one house, the only thing I noted to with that is that SMRC, if you spoke to a youth who's gotten the word in any way, I think the one house for identifying sexual minority in some way would be SMRC. the engaging kids in the religious spirituality piece, I don't know how many teens you have at First United Methodist, but you've got more than First Congregational Crossroad downtown. So there's the outreach to youth about spirituality, period. It's not, if you look at the statistics, the Pew Religious Trust, whatever, young people are not responding to organized religion in large numbers. I'm glad to see some younger faces in the room. I don't assume age on anybody.
I'm 24, by the way.
I'm identifying old because I took a senior citizen parking spot. But I think when PFLAG has a speaker on a religious topic,
Yeah.
David Weekley, who's openly trans minister, and our pastor's going to come speak in a couple of months, there's big turnout.
There's big turnout.
We don't particularly get high school age coming to PFLAG, but we do get college age
Yeah.
individuals coming and seeking, and they'll come on that religious night. Community of Welcoming Congregations is on the web as well as at Pride and so forth, and that's, I'm supposing this church is a member, but they're good at publicizing all the affirming communities in this area. That's a start at that.
And one quick thing, SMRC does play an active role within the homeless youth system. They have programs and the different agencies have relationships with them, so that way we're actually having outreach workers go to the drop-in center at SMRC. They have programs within our agencies. So if you're within the homeless youth system, you see all of those services in a collaborative system versus separate.
There's a wonderful study that's just come out. And it was done, I'm sorry I don't have the specifics on it, but it caused a tremendous buzz within PFLAG about 3 months ago. I think it's Princeton, I believe, did a study of all of the surveys and electoral results surrounding LGBT issues. And they did it by state, they did it by age group, they did it by several different demographic breakdowns. And one of the consistent things that they found is that in all states, even the most unsupportive states, the attitudes towards LGBT acceptance and general issues were moving towards acceptance. In our state, it's moving at about 3% a year, things like that. And very definitely, there is a clear distinction between the younger generation and even my generation. So if we look at the average in the country for people over 60 versus 40s versus 20s, there's like a 20-point shift. And very much by about 2012, 2014, 2016 region, you're going to see many of the states, the populations of the states fully supported. So the information is getting out there, but more importantly, it appears to be a generational change. And one of the things we know in working within the movement is that the single most powerful, losing my word here, anyway, knowing somebody who is LGBT.
Yeah, right.
Familiarity is the single reason that causes people to shift their opinions and behaviors.
Jessica, do you want to talk about partnering with ROP and getting rural testimony?
Yeah, that's good.
I actually don't have a ton of information about this. There are other coworkers who are doing this work much more deeply than I am, but at Basic Rights Oregon, we are partnering with the Rural Organizing Project, who is an organization that traditionally started when there were many anti-gay ballot measures at the local levels in rural areas around the state, and they really were able to do some amazing on-the-ground organizing in rural areas that each look really different. Every community